In our Monday night interview, we're discussing the Congress of the People and the party's readiness for the upcoming elective conference at the end of May. We have with us in studio Andile and Dexter, who is the chairperson of COPE's interim leadership in the Eastern Cape, as well as joining us on the line from Cape Town, Philip Dexter, who's spokesperson of the Congress of the People. Now, just before the break, Philip was talking about the structures not being in place. And I'm saying to you offline, Andile, that I find that amazing, because how can you not have structures in place? It's not like you woke up yesterday to the fact that there's going to be an elective conference.
No, this is disingenuous of him, because let me just put it on the record. We've got structures in place, and I will not allow Philip to malign the office of the General Secretary. There was a CNC meeting this morning. Philip and others who serve in the working committee boycotted that meeting, absented themselves, and that's why we had to postpone it for Sunday. And subsequently, the working committee met and received a report about the nomination process, the state of readiness, and all the logistical issues. That's why I can say he's not in a position to comment on this issue, because as part of a Scotch Earth policy to make that meeting not succeed, because many people are fear the outcome of the May conference, and that's why they absented themselves. So he can't come here and say, when he's not in the knowledge, and say there's no preparation, we're not ready. A conference report, preparation committee report, was presented this morning. I have here in front of me a document presented by Comrade Charlotte this morning, which is about the state of readiness for Congress. So this notion that he must come here and create lies is wrong as a spokesperson of the party.
Okay, we have to give the callers an opportunity to come in here.
I also need to respond to that.
Very briefly, Philip.
No, it's just to say it's disingenuous for Andile to suggest that because a report was finally given this morning, that's okay. I mean, it's nonsense. We've been meeting for weeks and weeks and weeks without that report. It's fine that the report has been given today. People didn't absent themselves from a meeting because they were fearful of the outcome. As he knows, I was in communication with him. I've actually been booked off ill from Parliament and from work. So, it's fine for him to make propaganda, but it's simply not true.
Okay, let's go to the lines. Starting with Lindile. In fact, we're starting with Andile and Dexter. Good evening.
Good evening, Sakina, and good evening to the chairperson of Eastern Cape. I must put it in context as the leader of the youth movement, that as a youth movement, in our sober senses, we took a resolution that we are going to rally behind Comrade Mashilowa as a presidential, as a candidate that we are wanting to occupy the office of the presidency. But I must also put it into perspective that Comrade Philip Dexter has been consistently hit on lying through his teeth to say no pronouncement has been allowed to be made, when in fact him, Comrade Smart, Comrade Tozamile Border, travels the length and breadth of South Africa, lobbying for people to make sure that there is an exclusion of Comrade Mashilowa, Comrade Charlotte Lobby, and many other comrades in the processes leading up to nomination. A point in case is the Eastern Cape statement that was released by Comrade Naba, who is suspended in the organization, whom they did not reprimand, as Comrade Dexter is saying here. And I must also, in conclusion, put it into clear perspective, Sakina, that we understand, some of us, the confusion that is engulfed with the office of Comrade Philip Dexter, that no structure must pronounce, because he is not leading any structure. He is just an anointed lead that has been put on the head of communications, and he thinks that he can stifle processes if they are not in line with his interests. And we will not allow such a thing in the Congress of the People. Also know of the moves that are put to frustrate the Congress, which we believe, and we are very much aware, it will come, it will succeed, and our interest will emerge as the Congress of the People Youth Movement in other provinces, whom we are looking to make sure that the leadership that we want to take the Congress of the People forward must emerge, rather than the leadership that is referred to the memorandum as founding fathers who have not risen up to the occasion by once up to this moment.
Okay, and in the interest of time, unfortunately, I'm not going to engage you there, Andile, but it sounds like a contradiction. You've made the statement already about the youth movement backing a certain candidate, and now you're talking about lobbying other provinces. But let's go back to the lines there. Sifo Sekhale, good evening.
You must allow us to respond.
No, Philip, I just want to take a few calls. You will get an opportunity to respond. Okay. So just, make a note. We'll come back to that.
Sakina, how are you?
Well, and you?
I'm good. You see, Sakina, the first thing that I want to talk about is the issue of the youth announcing on buzzing. I think it's very inconsistent, because if you remember, the youth have called for the conference to come in May. but they've never held their own inaugural conference, meaning that since they were appointed in Sandton during the convention, they never took any action like the mother body to come up with an inaugural conference that will make them credible. You've got a leadership of the youth that was appointed by people who are less than 50 in number, sitting in a room somewhere in Sandton. Now, we cannot allow a structure like that to pronounce on leadership of COPE because it's not representative of the views of the youth of Congress of the People. Now, the issue that I want to talk to, the issue of COPE going to nomination is that how do you go to nomination before you have proper guidelines in place that the higher structure, which is the CNC or CWC, has put in place? Mm-hmm. And I believe that the issue of nomination is not dividing us, bringing us together.
Oh, it seems like that very clearly. But again, as I said, Andile, Philip, please just make some notes. We'll come back to that. Leader of the youth movement in Gauteng, I believe we have on line 2. I'm speaking to?
This is John. I'm the provincial secretary of Gauteng Mother Body, not youth.
Okay.
In Gauteng, unlike many other provinces and chapters like youth movement, all regions have consolidated their branch nominations after branches have had an opportunity to nominate, and out of 8 nominating structures, 7 have nominated Comrade. Last Wednesday we did a press conference where we announced the outcome of those branches and regions. Now, I don't understand if Philip is of the view that we must not tell the public what branches of COPE are saying. Now, this is the position in Gauteng, and it's unlikely to change easily, and everybody must just live with it, including Philip and the president.
All right. And then we have Lyndall on line 3. Good evening.
Yes, I'm been listening to, I don't know whether Andile and Dexter is the spokesperson of the party, but let me make my point. It's interesting for him to talk about democracy, where in a province that is meeting is a Hitler. There's no one that can have a different view on what Nkusu has in the province. But the point that I want to make is it's not about any. I'm saying the processes have not started. If Andile would say on SAFM or Metro FM, to say is waiting for Northwest to pronounce, who is speaking on behalf of.
Okay, thank you, Lindile. And then I just want to read through a few messages here on Facebook very quickly. Let's start with Nolene, who says, the truth is that COPE is a mirror image of the ANC, which goes to show that they branched off because they were power hungry and not necessarily what South Africa needs in leaders. And then Tebogo says, I strongly believe that COPE needs new leadership, someone who can take on the ANC. Then we have Kobus Botha, who says, Terror must serve divorce papers again, because they have used him like toilet paper when it suited them. And now that he has sacrificed everything for the party, they are saying he's not fit to be president. And David Mogashua says, please ask them with their ups and downs, what are they going to ensure? How are they going to ensure that the 1.3 million voters that voted for COPE stay with them?